the land that we originally came from, and it just turned into a big city and got really colonized, so we were forced to relocate. My name is Virasque Stonefish. I'm from the Lenape Nation.
It's been hundreds of years since the Lenape had a powwow. Why is this powwow so important to the Lenape tribe?
This is the land that we originally came from, and it just turned into a big city and got really colonized, so we were forced to relocate. Columbus didn't discover America. How can you discover something that already had inhabitants and already had people that had a life and a culture and had a system of living? It just doesn't let us tell our story on how we came to be.
New York, New York.
An ICE office. I've been in there for an immigration interview, and it fucking sucks in there. Basically, I'm come out here any day of the week. Car in San Antonio. I'm actually from San Antonio. It's a highly segregated city, about 3 hours from the border, and it's a very Mexican-American city, where cultural events about Mexico are celebrated, but also where the police and ICE terrorize Black and Latino communities. And these 53 immigrants that were found in the truck, 22 Mexicans, 7 people from Guatemala, 2 from Honduras, at least 2 children. And even though people aren't talking about it so much, it's the largest mass casualty event involving migrants crossing the border in recent memory. We don't know their names yet. I wanted to read them, but they haven't released their names. So I'm gonna say Los 53, and you're gonna say presente. Los 53. Presente. Los 53. Presente. Borders kill people, y'all. Border walls kill people. The anti-immigrant policies of Republicans and Democrats kill people. That's why we fight to abolish ICE, to open the borders, and to let them all in. Fuck the And I gotta say, fuck the anti-immigration policies of both the Republicans and the Democrats, as well as those of the Supreme Court. Fuck the crocodile tears of the Democrats who pretend to care about kids in cages when they're seeking votes, but who cynically use people's sympathy and humanitarian feelings to garner votes to continue the same anti-immigrant policies as the Republicans. So fuck the Democrats. And fuck the Republicans. And it's not just in the U.S. The Spanish and European Union Border Patrol worked with the Moroccan police to carry out a massacre at the Moroccan border in Africa. At least 37 migrants were killed and 150 more were injured. Many came from Chad and Sudan and were merely seeking asylum. And it's the same story in the U.S. Hundreds and even thousands of people trying to cross the border every year are killed. People are forced to migrate to the U.S. as a result of U.S. imperialism, as a result of U.S. coups, of U.S.-supported dictatorships, as a result of the capitalists in their own countries and the capitalists in the U.S. And these dictatorships and right-wing governments in Latin America are propped up by the U.S. military-industrial complex that is right now, under the Biden administration, being funded at historic levels. And we gotta be clear, some people think it's progressive that we're funding NATO. NATO is not a progressive force in the world. The U.S. government is never a progressive force in the world. So fuck U.S. imperialism.
Fuck U.S. imperialism.
On the go. There's only, like the ban on abortion that is having abajo el patriarcado que va a caer, que va a caer. Arriba el feminismo que va a vencer, que va a vencer. Abajo el patriarcado que va a caer, que va a caer. Arriba el feminismo que va a vencer, que va a vencer. Move your legs. ¿Cómo dice? Abajo el patriarcado
rights are an issue that are going to affect, yes, a lot of cis women, but also a lot of trans folks, a lot of non-binary folks. So abortion rights is not just a women's rights issue, right? And also it's super important to use inclusive language, especially as the right wing is advancing and attacking trans people. And we also have to stand up and fight back against all of the attacks against trans rights, against abortion rights, against immigrants' rights, all of the attacks created by this imperialist capitalist society that we have to overthrow. Desde México enviamos un combativo saludo a las mujeres, disidencias, jóvenes, trabajadores, personas LGBT que se movilizan por los derechos migrantes y por el derecho al aborto.
From Mexico, we send a combative greeting to the women, LGBTQ people, youth, and workers who are mobilizing for immigrants' rights and abortion rights.
Las políticas antimigrantes también se han recrudecido en nuestro país, México. La implementación de la Guardia Nacional fue finalmente y el muro de Trump aseguraba que México pagaría. Miles de agresiones, maltratos y deportaciones se han registrado contra las caravanas migrantes que vienen desde Centroamérica. Las condiciones de vulnerabilidad de los migrantes tienen hechos terribles, como el reciente hallazgo de decenas de personas muertas asfixiadas en un tráiler en Texas, ante lo cual señalamos que los gobiernos son responsables al imponer sus políticas antimigratorias. Ningún ser humano es ilegal.
Anti-immigrant policies have also intensified in our country, with the National Guard acting as border police and Trump's border wall, which he wanted Mexico to pay for. Migrant caravans coming from Central America have faced thousands of aggressions, mistreatment, and deportation. The vulnerable conditions of migrants create horrifying effects, like the recent discovery of dozens of dead migrants suffocating in a trailer in Texas. Our governments are responsible for imposing anti-immigration policies. No human being is illegal.
Por otro lado, desde el sur hemos seguido atentamente las discusiones en torno al derecho al aborto en su país y repudiamos el reciente fallo que revierte el Roe vs. Wade en la misma Corte Suprema que mantiene políticas antimigrantes, y sabemos que serán precisamente las migrantes sin papeles, la comunidad negra y las más pobres quienes se verán afectadas por esta criminalización del aborto y no tendrán acceso a ese derecho.
On the other hand, from the South, we repudiate the recent ruling reversing Roe v. Wade. It is the same Supreme Court that maintains anti-immigrant policies, and we know that it will be precisely the undocumented migrants, the Black community, and the poorest who will be affected by this criminalization of abortion and will not have access to this right.
Saludamos las movilizaciones que han surgido y sobre todo nos alienta la unión que se ha generado en las calles entre el movimiento de mujeres y el LGBT con todos los sectores precarizados que están luchando por organizarse en sus centros de trabajo. Sabemos que nuestros derechos no están garantizados una vez y para siempre en este sistema capitalista y patriarcal. El avance en contra del derecho al aborto no solo se muestra en este fallo, sino con décadas de ataques sistemáticos al mismo, y que estos derechos se conquistan y se defienden en las calles. Por eso, como Pan y Rosas, nos sumamos a la exigencia de aborto legal, seguro y gratuito.
We send our greetings to mobilizations and protests that have arisen, and above all, we are encouraged by the unity in the streets between the women's and LGBT+ movements, with the precarious sectors that are fighting to organize in their workplaces. We know that our rights are not guaranteed in this capitalist and patriarchal system. The advance against the right to abortion is not only shown with this ruling, but with decades of systematic attacks against abortion rights. And these rights are defended, and that these rights are defended and won in the streets. So, as Bread and Roses in Mexico, we join the call for free, safe, legal abortion on demand.
Law for free, legal, and safe abortion for anyone who needs one. As a healthcare worker, I'm excited to lead the unionization of Amazon.
Stand up, fight back!
When abortion rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
That's right, y'all. So I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. My name's Jorge. I'm Mexican, and the reason I'm standing here today, the same reason I see all of y'all standing here today, as I'm looking out at y'all, young people, black lives, young lives, working class lives, Palestinian lives. Everybody today is recognizing that we really have a common enemy today that we really gotta stand up to and confront. And that kind of enemy, all of us are beginning to recognize, is white, nationalist, patriarchal oppression that is represented in large part by this building that we are standing out right in front behind us. So we recognize that common enemy, and I'm really proud of that, because for a long time, the reason that white nationalists, white supremacists, mostly men, let's be real about that, these white nationalist men have been so successful is because they've been dividing us. Divide and conquer has been their strategy. They've been telling people like me that an immigrant has to advocate separately from a black life, or a women's activism, or to advocate for trans lives. Y'all have to have separate movements. But today people are recognizing that that is not the case, that we are stronger together and unified in a much stronger way together. Because we know that. We see that it's the same government that is oppressing Puerto Rico, that's funding the oppression of the Palestinian people abroad. It is the same government that's denying your rights here today as women. These same white nationalists that are pointing themselves to courts to deny you your rights, the same ones that are out on the streets still under Biden with greater funding than Trump ever gave them, still out of these streets today trying to kidnap people like my family off these streets. That's being funded by y'all, by our tax dollars. These white nationalists has got to stop with that and abolish it. So that's just my simple message to y'all today, is that I'm really proud to see this unity in the street. I hope we can continue it. And again, when black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When abortion rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
That's right, y'all, and mean it, y'all, mean it. This unification today is very powerful. This standing together is very powerful. But remember what y'all just said. Stand up, fight back, don't let them take your rights away. Thank you.
Fuck Jeff Bezos!
Fuck Jeff Bezos!
Fuck Jeff Bezos!
Fuck Jeff Bezos!
Fuck ICE!
Fuck ICE!
Fuck the Supreme Court!
Fuck the Supreme Court!
Give Brett a round of applause.
Hi y'all. First off, thank you for everyone showing up today and demanding reproductive justice for all. So thank you for being here. Like it's mentioned by my comrade, my name is Brett Daniels. I am the Director of Organizing for the Amazon Labor Union for our Workers Committee. Abortion is our demand. No peace on stolen land.
Abortion is our demand. No peace on stolen land.
Abortion is our demand.
No peace on stolen land.
All right, y'all. Let's give a chant for the pigs in the back. ICE. That's the same shit twice.
Police! ICE, that's the same shit twice! 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 Police! ICE, that's the same shit twice!
All right, y'all. So like many comrades have mentioned here today, white supremacist capitalist patriarchy must be dismantled and is at the core of all of our oppressive issues in society. So again, like it's been said, migrant rights are human rights, labor rights are human rights, trans rights are human rights. This all is connected. So you know, it shouldn't be cis hetero white men deciding, you know, what to do with our bodies. So, you know, borders and bans off our bodies. Thank you all.
You know where we are.
New York.
Palestine to Mexico, border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico, border walls have got to go.
Palestine to Mexico.
Border walls have got to go.
Does anyone else want to speak?
Queers, raise your fist. Fight the capitalists. Queers, raise your fist. Fight the capitalists.
Queers, raise your fist.
I can't hear
Fight
you.
capitalists.